Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into something that's honestly deeply personal and, well, pretty profound. We're looking at how technology can actually be engineered to dismantle invisible barriers. We're talking about the intersection of human dignity and advanced systems architecture, and exploring how designing for our most vulnerable moments might just create a better world for everyone. Let's get into it.
Now, to really grasp why this matters, I want you to picture a scene with me. It's a typical Sunday afternoon in the UK. Downstairs, a family gathering is in full swing. You know the vibe. Teacups clinking, multiple conversations overlapping, laughter echoing down the hall. But upstairs, tucked away in his nan's dimly lit spare room, a young autistic boy is sitting on the floor, hands pressed tightly over his ears. He isn't being antisocial, right? He is literally in survival mode. The sensory input from downstairs is just way too much for his nervous system to process. Then, the bedroom door gently clicks open. His aunt peers in, assesses the situation, and softly asks, "Good time for a hug?"
That single moment perfectly captures what we call the perspective gap. You see, to the family downstairs, the environment is filled with warmth, connection, and joy. But to a vulnerable nervous system, that exact same environment translates into an overwhelming, physically painful sensory chaos. It leads to burnout, shutdowns, and intense sensory overload. And the reality is, millions of people experience this kind of nervous system dysregulation every single day. They're often relying on fragmented support and disconnected coping strategies that honestly rarely work together.
Section 1. The Human-First Philosophy, Bridging the Empathy Gap.
Okay, let's dive into this. To bridge this massive empathy gap, the Adaptive Regulation Platform steps in. Their core mission is to improve the daily lives of people whose nervous systems are simply overwhelmed by modern life. And they do it, and this is absolutely crucial, not by forcing the person to change, but by changing the environment around them using intelligent, adaptable solutions. The entire foundation rests on a really strict design philosophy. First up, human first. Technology has to adapt to people, not the other way around. Second is autonomy, making sure users are always completely in control. Third, the systems must have a low cognitive load. This means the products actually reduce decision-making instead of piling on more. And finally, predictability. Because for a dysregulated nervous system, surprises are perceived as threats. So every interaction with this platform is designed to feel totally safe, understandable, and 100% consistent.
Section 2. Engineering Adaptive Behavior, Building the Ecosystem.
So we've got this deeply human, empathetic philosophy. But to actually build environments that predictably lower cognitive load, that requires a massive engineering ecosystem. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer scale of the architecture required just to solve these human-scale problems. It's staggering, especially when you contrast it with that quiet spare room. At the bottom, it all starts with the adaptive framework architecture. From there, it branches out. On the left, you've got engineering ecosystems mapping out the technical scaffolding. On the right, behavioral ecosystems defining standards for human relationships and coordination. And these two massive arms? They converge right in the middle at the wearable milestone merge point. It's just a brilliant way to visualize how deep technical engineering and core behavioral standards are seamlessly woven together into a physical product. It's an unbelievable amount of complex infrastructure, built solely to protect human dignity.
Section 3. The Sensory Safe Shirt, a second skin for sensing.
Zooming back in from that macro ecosystem, we find the specific, tangible tools designed to help that child at Nan's house. Tools like the Sensory Safe Shirt. It's designed to act as a second skin for sensing, comfort, and connection. And this brilliantly illustrates the direct output of that wearable milestone merge point we just talked about. Notice the comfort-first design here. It uses soft, breathable, sensory-safe materials that are totally washable and durable for everyday use. But here's the kicker. Hidden within those materials are seamless sensors that continuously and passively monitor key physiological signals. We're talking heart rate, breathing rate, skin temperature. It gathers all this crucial data through a magnetic docking adapter, securely transmitting it without ever intruding on the user's dignity. To the person wearing it, it just feels like a favorite comfortable shirt.
Section 4. Safe, Adaptable, Regulation Spaces, Closing the Loop.
You know, monitoring dysregulation is really only half the battle. The actual magic happens when that wearable data connects seamlessly to a broader, physically supportive environment, like a dedicated regulation zone. The whole system acts in a closed loop. You wear the shirt to capture data, the system analyzes and calibrates, and then the environment itself physically responds to regulate and support you. So when the sensory-safe shirt detects that the boy's nervous system is spiking into distress, his environment automatically adapts. It lowers the sensory load by adjusting the light, sound, and temperature. And even more impressively, the chair itself provides personalized deep pressure stimulation, full-body air compression, and even heat therapy on demand. It's constantly analyzing his physiological patterns in real time to provide the exact support his nervous system demands, exactly when he needs it, all without him ever having to say a single word.
Section 5. Empowering connection and autonomy. Resolving the micro-story.
Let's shift our focus entirely back to that microstory in Nan's spare room. Because ultimately, all of this incredible technology, the master project networks, the seamless sensors, the closed-loop air compression chairs, the whole shebang exists just to resolve that single deeply human moment. Think about the before. Without support, the sensory overwhelm leads straight to isolation. The boy is trapped in a shutdown state, and when his aunt gently asks for a hug, his nervous system is just too afraid to accept that connection. It's painful for him, and of course it's heartbreaking for his family. But now look at the after. With the adaptive regulation platform supporting his nervous system, his environment recognizes the distress. The shirt and the regulation space step in to provide the deep pressure and low sensory load his brain is literally begging for. His nervous system regulates, his autonomy is completely preserved. And because he feels supported and safe, when his aunt opens that door and asks, "Good time for a hug?" his answer can finally be yes.
So what does this all mean? The crucial takeaway here is that technology doesn't have to be something that distances us from our humanity. When it's engineered with true empathy, it can actually pave the way for much deeper connection. By prioritizing predictability and individual comfort, we can build a world that doesn't just constantly demand we adapt to it, but actually adapts to us. Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought to carry forward. As these platforms evolve, how will adaptive environments change the way you connect with the world? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really encourage you to reflect on how a human-first approach could transform the spaces you interact with every single day.